Hey guys, today I'm going to do a collab video with Blessed with Blue over here on YouTube. She's a channel very similar to mine. She has little boys, she's a mom, she is really into budgeting and Dave Ramsey, and she's a heck of a lot better at that stuff than I am. She's very organized, and they also love Disney World like we do. So today her and I got together and we decided that we are going to do our best budget planning tips. She has 5, I have 5, so you're gonna have 10 tips in total that can really kind of help you to stay on budget and go to Disney World. It's something that I'm asked all the time, like, gosh, it's so expensive, you know, how do you justify the cost? And I mean, by all means, you could go stay deluxe and pay for, you know, huge amounts of tickets and dining and everything, or there are just some little ways that you can save money that really do help in the long run. So always make sure to check out her channel. I'm sure she's gonna have some awesome ideas and tips for you guys. And then I'm gonna get into my 5 little tips for you guys that I've thought of. There are millions of other tips, so by all means, if there's some that we didn't mention them down below, because I'm sure all of our subscribers would like to, you know, save a little money. Who doesn't? Okay, so the first one I'll say is buy ahead. Things that you can buy ahead, buy ahead. We buy all custom clothing for our trips, and even me buying it ahead and paying a local friend $9, $10, $12 is a heck of a lot cheaper than going to Walt Disney World and paying $30 for an adult shirt, probably $20 to $25 for a kid's shirt. I mean, that's a little savings that goes a long way, and you can get shirts that are super cute. You can get them custom to your family. You know, everyone can get a different character, or you can get them vinyl with your name on it or whatever. Or as usual, you know, just check JCPenney, Target, Walmart has super cheap Disney themed clothing, and especially if you can get them on clearance, super, super cheap. I know today alone, my daughter and I went to Target and there was a shirt or a sweater. It's a long sleeve black sweater and it has gold Mickeys on it. And I think it was regularly $15 to $20. The shirt was regularly $15 to $20 and she got it today for $8. And we just buy them when we see them. We set them aside in a little Disney bin, which is a great tip. And a month or 2 before we're gonna travel, we'll start pulling everything out and say, okay, we have this many shirts and this many this and this many that. What do we need? That way that we're not spending a ton of money when we are at Disney World. There are ways that you can get your ponchos and autograph books and things like that at the Disney Store online website. Oftentimes they'll do things where if you buy like 2 or more items, you get 10% off. 3 or more, you get 15% off. 4 or more, you get 20% off for those type of things. That's how I've bought our park ponchos, because we do use the Disney World ponchos. We have bought the cheap ponchos before, which by all means you can get them for like 99 cents from Target and Walmart in the camping sections. And we like them, but we tend to go when it's super hot. And if you go when it's super hot and it's raining and you're wearing those, you feel like you're sitting in a swamp. Like, it doesn't like ventilate air or anything like that. And it just does get kind of gross. So definitely going, just if you want to buy Disney things, even going on the Disney website, the Shops Disney Park app, and just buying things ahead of time when they're on clearance, on sale, whatever it may be. Going on Amazon, buying those type of things on clearance and on sale, you know, it really does add up. It's a great way to save a lot of money well before you get there. Not to mention knowing that, okay, I don't need to get clothes when I'm there. I don't need to get this when I'm there. I don't need to get anything when we get to the parks. We can just enjoy Disney World. Tip number 2, and a huge one, is drive, not fly. This is not for the faint of heart. We have driven from New England and we have driven from Georgia multiple times. Driving from Georgia, we stop one time to fill up gas, and we stop normally for food there. We typically get fast food anywhere from $20 to $30, and our fill up is typically about $40 to $45. I drive a big minivan. It's not the best on gas mileage. That's really cheap to drive to Disney World, rather than even if we flew from Georgia and we got like a really great rate, like I'm thinking like a $50 to $60 rate, which isn't unheard of, we're still making out a huge way. If we leave our house around like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, we get to Disney before lunch. We make awesome time. We get there really, really quickly. We have anywhere from a 7 to 8 hour drive with stop. We've driven from New Hampshire before. That one we stopped a few times, but I think our grand total was around $300 for gas and a hotel room for the way down, and I believe that included our way back up too. And for us to fly from New England, it was typically at the cheapest, and the only rate I would pay was $1,200. Plus you'd have to pay to park your car at the airport. So that is a huge savings. You are putting wear and tear on your car, you're putting wear and tear on your tires, you know, things like that. If you drive from New England, a lot of people take 95, which is tons of tolls. We don't take that way. We kind of go inward, and we in return miss traffic and tolls. So that is something to think of, but for us, it's such a huge savings when you have a big family that it's like a no-brainer for us at this point, especially living in Georgia. We can get there in 7 hours. There's no way we would ever fly to Walt Disney World. Another huge way that's going to be saving you money is if you do decide to fly to Florida. If you can't drive, you will have the benefit of Magical Express. You will have the benefit of a free ride to and from the airport. When you're at Disney, you're having free transportation to and from the parks. You are never going to have to need a car. You're not going to have to rent a car and pay for gas or any of that. You're going to have everything right there where you don't need to have that expense added into your flight, or into your trip. So if you don't want to drive, that's definitely a huge money saver, because you are just saving so much money on not renting a car, not paying for gas, and all that hassle. If you do drive and you stay on site, you still have and I should say Magical Express is only for people staying on Disney property. If you drive and you're thinking, oh, well, I'm losing that savings of, Magical Express and all that stuff. Well, if you drive, you can still take buses to and from the parks, which is gonna save you money. And if you wanna drive to the parks, you're gonna save that $20 a day in parking fees. That's a huge one. That's like crazy that you would have to spend, another $100, $200 in parking fees. So Disney transportation, whether it be Magical Express, the buses to and from, the boats, any of that stuff, use it. Take advantage of it. It's there for you. It's a benefit to staying in Walt Disney World, and you can save so much money that way. And heck, even if you wanted to rent a car to drive down there to save that money, you could almost turn your rental in, use Disney transportation all week, and then get a new rental to drive up with. And that may be a cost savings. I don't know, I've never done it, but hey, that could save you a little bit of money too, where you also don't have your car rental for like 3 weeks, you know what I mean? A huge way that I saved money in the beginning, our first trip we flew, our second trip we drove, our third trip we flew. A huge way that I saved money was renting a stroller from Kingdom Strollers, and in return, we got a discount from Garden Grocer. As long as you spent $40, you got free delivery, I believe it was. And then with Garden Grocer, the earlier that you order, the bigger discount you get. Now Publix has one. You can get groceries delivered from Amazon, which we have done, and all these things. So if you're not doing the dining plan, get some sort of groceries delivered to you, or take an Uber and go get groceries. That's a huge way to save money. For us, we have issues with all the Disney food. It gets in our bellies, and it just really doesn't work well with us at all. So for us, we typically always do breakfast in our room, and we always have things like muffins and fruit and yogurt and granola bars and cereal. We have all that stuff delivered to our resort, or we pack a little bit, and that's a huge way to save money right there, just doing breakfast that way. I always have some sort of snacks for the kids. My kids love fruit snacks and like those little baggies of cookies or whatever like that, goldfish, anything like that in the park, so that when they are a little bit hungry but they don't want a meal, we can give them those, or heck, we can have them too before we want to sit down and have a full meal. And then that way, you're saving a lot of money. To go and get a snack at Disney, it's $4 to $5 per snack that you get. That's a huge savings of money right there. And then typically, what we tell our kids is, if you want to do a meal at Disney, that's fine. We try to make it so that if we are going to be in our hotel room for a midday break for the night, we eat in our room. We will, get things like ravioli and SpaghettiOs and those type of things delivered to our resort, and we'll make them in the food court. Is it the best food for you? No. Is it an amazing meal? No, but it's something quick and cheap and easy. And sometimes when your kids just want to swim or they just want to lay down and relax, it's something really nice. And then you haven't spent $60, $70, $80 for a quick service meal in a food court from your hotel. It's a great way to save money. We also will tell our kids, hey, if we're gonna have a table service meal today, because we don't have a table service meal every day, but if we're gonna have a sit down meal, then we bring our lunch into the parks. We'll bring sandwiches and all that type of stuff. We have an awesome backpack cooler that we got from Costco, and you can find them online for like $20 or $30. And it's amazing to bring and have a full lunch in the parks. We will also bring our water bottles and Gatorade and soda. You can bring whatever you want into the parks as long as it's not glass bottles or alcohol. So take advantage of that. We have done that. And is it a pain in the butt in the morning to pack lunches? Yeah, but it's a huge savings. And for us, we'd rather spend our money maybe getting a nicer hotel or a few more days park tickets or something like that than spend a bunch of money on Disney food. Like if we're gonna get something special from Disney, by all means we'll do it. But if we're just gonna get burgers and fries, there's no reason to pay that kind of money for it. That's something that we have learned over the time. And I'll say it again, free dining is no longer free. If you are paying rack rate for a room and you're having to get tickets plus Hopper, for us to do that versus save like 20% on a moderate, like if we stayed at the cabins, we save like almost $1,000. If we're packing our lunches and having a few meals, we don't spend anywhere near $1,000 for food. So for us, free dining isn't that awesome of a deal. I mean, it's a deal that like if it was there, we may take advantage of it, but it's not one of those things that we say, okay, we can only go in the fall because of free dining, because for us, it's just not that free anymore. You know what I mean? When we did our first trip, free dining was, you got, you know, you paid for your room, you got the tickets that you wanted, you didn't have to add on extra stuff, and it was a good deal. But I feel like they just keep adding on stipulations to it that it's just not that great of a deal anymore. So those are my 5 tips: taking food into the parks, grocery delivery, taking advantage of Disney transportation, using the Magical Express, and what was my last one? Looking at my phone. And buying things ahead. I think that was all of mine. Yeah, staying on site by Magical Express and parks and stuff like that. So yeah, those are my tips. I think that staying on site is a huge plus to going to Disney World. I think it's, you know, yes, it's a little bit more expensive sometimes than staying off site, but when you add in all the other things, like you're not paying for room cleaners or parking or car rentals or things like that, I think it does kind of add up and maybe make it a little bit worth it to stay on site. That's just my opinion. But I mean, hey, to each is their own, and these are just some great budget tips. Make sure you check out Blessed with Blue. I'm sure she's going to have some awesome tips for you guys as well. I am a Disney travel agent. Sorry for the shameless plug. So if you are looking to get a quote for a Disney vacation, or maybe book a Disney vacation or a Universal vacation or any vacation, I can definitely help you. All my information is linked down below for my Facebook page, my email, and all that stuff. And if you look on my Facebook page currently through the end of February, I believe, I have a special promotion going on. If you book, have your reservation under deposit for this month, you'll get a special little bonus along with your goodie bag with any travel. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out Blessed with Blue, and hopefully this was informative to you guys.